Hello and welcome to the Calisthenics YouTube channel. My name is Dennis and we're back from our winter break. In today's video, we will look into why is technique so important. If you've been following us for a while here on YouTube or maybe on Instagram where we put out daily content, you will see that we constantly put an emphasis on how we put technique first. But why is that? There are a lot of athletes out there that are plenty strong and move big weights or perform very complex skills, and their technique doesn't look good at all. First of all, it's very important we differentiate between skills and basics. While technique is very important in both, most skills are defined by a certain way to perform them. They have certain standards coming from gymnastics, making them invalid or really unaesthetic when not performed correctly. While in street lifting, technique is just as important to hit the right target muscles to move as much weight as possible. When moving in a sub 1 RM range, certain technique flaws will appear, and when they help closing a rep without introducing too much of a risk of injury and keep the rep valid, they can have a place as a third attempt in a competition. This doesn't mean that we should put our bodies under that kind of stress all the time. When performing basic exercises, just as pull-ups, pike push-ups, dips, etc., we always have to keep in mind why we're doing them. Often in athletes with skills as a primary goal, they serve the purpose or to build muscle or to learn certain movement patterns in an as isolated fashion, hitting the muscle groups in the same way as they would be hit in a more advanced skill. By doing so, we won't just get a better hypertrophic response in the muscle, but we will learn to target it in the right way. This is what often gets called neuromuscular adaptations. It's nothing more than just working on technique and learning certain motor patterns. This will allow us, in the best case scenario, once we approach a skill directly, to use the right muscles in the right way right away, saving us a lot of frustration, since it's very difficult to focus on many things at the same time when performing a very complex skill. When performing skills directly, having right muscle activations to perform certain exercises is key. As you can see from these clips, when these athletes started working with us, they already had a good strength and muscular basis, but they failed to perform the movements how they were supposed to. In a very short period of time, by taking a step back, getting technique clues and understanding how to activate properly, they managed to achieve extreme progress in just a few months. This kind of progress is usually only possible when the strength requisites are already there and it's just the technique that's missing. That said, now we offer a service that only looks at the technique part of your lifts. In this example, you can see how part of such a feedback could look like and the difference it can make. We will look at a little example of Iris, a little before and after of her pike push-ups. The first clip was taken 4 weeks before the second clip. Iris didn't have pike push-ups in the plan for a few years, so her first time trying them again, there were quite a few mistakes. We'll look at them and see if you can spot them too. Starting off, already from the beginning we can notice one thing. This box isn't high enough for the pike push-ups she needs to perform. As a rule of thumb, we use the box at knee height measured from where the hands are, meaning if she would be standing on the parallettes, the box would be somewhere around here. That would allow her to have her hips over the shoulders in one line with the wrist. Of course, this depends on your compression mobility too, but in Iris's case, it's very good. So she doesn't need a box as high as you might do. Let's keep watching the clip. One thing we can notice right away is how much she leans into the pike push-up. If we think of performing a handstand push-up, which she's doing the pike push-ups for to get stronger in that specific exercise. We want to keep it as similar to the handstand push-up as possible, meaning we don't want to have too much lean. If we lean too much, it's almost impossible to balance the handstand push-up, especially when you're at the beginning and you're not already strong enough to perform 90-degree handstand push-ups or other variations, meaning she will have to go down a tiny bit steeper to make it easier for herself and more specific for the handstand push-up. That's number one. Number two is a tiny bit too much lean and elbow flexion. That can be alright if you go this deep. It's not really a mistake, but not needed for now. The third mistake we will notice is when going up, putting her head inside. That's a mistake many people do in the pike push-ups, and it's nothing tragic. But if we think of a handstand push-up, in the handstand push-up itself, we usually keep looking at the floor. Otherwise, if we tuck our head in, we would lose balance. That's something we want to try to avoid. Same time, we see she's having a hard time. This was a test back in the day with the exercise and still has to find a way to do it well. You can notice a little asymmetry between the left and the right side, which she always had since she has a quite strong scoliosis, but we're working on that too. Especially in the last rep here, we can notice how much she flattens out and loses form. Tension goes down too deep and loses the feet in the back too. Now we will look at the clip 4 weeks after a few feedbacks like this, where we correct mistake by mistake. Of course, in a service like this, we'll correct as many mistakes as we can from one clip. When we want to do it in a smart way, in our coaching, week by week, we correct one mistake at a time, because correcting them all at once for a client can be too much. Coaching gives us the time to do so. Here we can see correctly performed pike push-ups. So you can notice the box is higher, the path is much better, she keeps looking towards the floor even when she's having a hard time, and the asymmetry is way less noticeable. Just a few technical improvements can make an exercise 10 times more specific for the handstand push-up. Doing V push-ups like this might lead to enough strength to handstand push-ups in the future, but doing them like this is way more specific, will save you time, and will save you from useless injuries that might occur. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this format of videos, just let us know in the comment and leave us a like. It helps us out a lot. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask here in the comments or just on Instagram, Calisthenics_, where you can ask us in the DMs. That was it for today. Have a great one and see you next time.